Today's question comes from Mike in Texas. He says, my wife and I are debt-free except our mortgage and a 401k loan that we use to pay off consumer debt. We desperately want to move out, but we apparently missed the best time to sell our home. It's a beautiful house on a big corner lot. Since interest rates went up dramatically, our home just sits on the market. We've dropped our asking price as low as we can. Do we need to be patient with the current housing market or take it off the market and try again next year? Good question from Mike. So it was an amazing time. It's still a good time to sell the home. So there may be other factors here, Dave, that we don't know about this home sitting on the market.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But we don't know how long it's been sitting either. He hasn't said.
Yeah, I mean, I have met people who put their house on the market and 2 weeks later are panicking because it hasn't sold.
That's the question. Has it been 2 weeks or has it been 4 months? There's a difference.
Or has it been 4 years? I don't know. I mean, I missed it. I missed the one chance. No, you didn't. So here's the thing. I don't know if you have an unrealistic view of what the house is worth. We've taken it as low as we can. What does that mean? Okay, so here's what I would do. Number one, the housing market, we just talked about that a second ago, has slowed down. And sellers are experiencing a more normal process. For 50 years, with the exception of a 2-year period of time that we recently came through, the normal days on the market for a house selling was somewhere in the 60 to 120-day range. 2 to 4 months. That was a normal time to sell a house. I mean, and there's been times it was a little bit slower and times it was a little bit faster, but in general, that's what it was. And then we went through this 2-year period of time where after COVID, people came out of their caves looking for houses like Baptists after a casserole. They were going nuts, and they drove these, house was on the market for 32 minutes and had 87 offers. And that spoiled everybody rotten. So here's the deal. We're back to a normal market. It's a 90 to 120 days on the market, DOM period that we're sitting in. And you have to have the house completely merchandised and staged and ready to go. You need to clean the freaking bushes at the front yard so when you're standing in the street, it doesn't look like trash lives there.
Curb appeal.
Curb appeal, Bubba. And you got to clean up the dadgum, and you got to get, the cat has to go visit somewhere else because nobody buys a house with a dadgum cat in it, and so on, right? And so you can't just put any old piece of trash on the market and it sell instantly anymore. So I don't know if you've got those kinds of problems. The other problem you may have is an unrealistic view of what the price is. See, values have not come down. Prices have, because prices were many times someone fishing for a sucker fish. And they were looking for a sucker, and the price, you price it at sucker price and go, if it sells for that, I'll be a happy boy, but then you come down. You recently bought a property where a guy was fishing for sucker fish.
Oh, yeah.
And you made him an offer complete with all the data that says the appraisal is worth less than you are asking, and you didn't steal the house, but you got it at appraisal.
Yes, when you look at the comps in the neighborhood and go, what have homes actually closed for in the last 30 or 60 days, that gives you a much better idea of what this home is actually worth. Do not go to Zillow and go, well, my house is worth $850,000 according to Zillow, Dave.
Oh, God, no.
So it should sell for $850 because Zillow said so.
Zillow is no. You remember the old MapQuest thing?
Oh, yeah.
Which pretty much was Greek for guaranteed to be lost. Zillow is the MapQuest of real estate.
You heard it here first.
So, yeah, no. I mean, it's okay to look at it.
Do people still use MapQuest?
No. I mean, old people are the only ones even know about it. So, but, you have the dial-up.
Yeah, and
then
you
print off the instructions.
Print out the paper.
14.4, right? So, anyway, the point being, get a real estate agent and get a real value and really stage the house, put your feet up, and get ready to ride it out for 90 to 120 days. And if in that period of time you don't sell it, then something else is going on, okay? But I think you might have an unrealistic view of how fast the market is. I think you might have an unrealistic view of the value of your home versus the price you put on it. And the last thing is you're in Texas. You could be sitting near some of the areas that have been hammered by the by the energy world being turned upside down, and a lot of people aren't working, and some of those individual markets are actually declining. It's not a nationwide thing, but you've got a microeconomic situation going on in that community where a vastly large percentage of the buyers were in the oil business in one way or another, and now they're not buying nothing because they ain't got a job or they don't have an income. And so that can cause a little miniature recession in a certain area that can affect your house price. That could be a thing. I don't think that's what's going on here.
No.
I think one of the other things we talked about is what's going on.
I'd get an opinion from one of our trusted real estate agents and go, hey, look at this thing. What do you think? What do you think is going wrong here? And it may be time to switch real estate agents if they're not doing a great job getting some showings and offers.
You need to have a realistic price with realistic length of time expectations, a high quality professional real estate. Go to RamseySolutions.com, click on ELP for Ramsey Trusted People, and you've got to stage the house and actually market it and get it ready to sell to the public, which generally has no imagination. And so if crap is all torn up in there, they can't see past it, and you won't sell the house. That's how houses have been marketed for 50 years.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about this in our Real Estate Reality Check event of what is actually going on in the market. Is it still a good time to buy? Is it still a good time to sell? And we show the graph of the interest rates over time. And even though interest rates are going up, they're nowhere near what they were back when you were selling real estate.
No, not. I mean, even when I started this show, they were in double digits when we started the show 30 years ago.
And now if we had double-digit interest rates, I mean,
if we had a 10% interest rate, can you imagine the wailing and gnashing of teeth? Can you imagine? But we were in 10% interest rate coming down from 18, so we were calling that blessed.
And you were still selling houses at 18% interest rate.
Yeah, not a bunch, but they were selling. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, you were just a great real estate agent.
That's it. Because that's because it was at 22 years old, I was a genius.